Okay, so, yeah, we still don't know how to start these videos, but this is what we came up with after 15 minutes of trying to figure it out. Which really isn't that long of a time, but that's where we're at. So,
We're kind of just over it.
Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I'm Kayla.
I'm Ashley.
And today we're going to talk about
School.
Everyone's favorite thing to talk about, right? So we're going to start this off with peer pressure, which what we were talking about was, I don't know if y'all did this, but we had DARE, and it was like, basically just say no to drugs. So in my mind, I had like this after school special version of like everyone was going to offer me drugs or alcohol because that's the only kind of peer pressure they told you about. I don't think I was ever offered drugs or alcohol.
Not like exclusively like how I pictured it, like, everyone offering like
Villainizing?
every time you walk down the hallway, everyone's just kind of like drugs. Like
Yeah, there was a dealer on every corner.
Yeah. That's
that's
not
not how it was. So no one like kind of told me that it would be peer pressure to like be in a relationship or even to break up. Like,
yeah.
I had both, so I didn't handle it well at all.
Yeah, because for me, like, the biggest part of the peer pressure topic for me was feeling like I had to be in a relationship with someone, whether it be like having a best friend that I do everything with at school, or having a boyfriend that, like, we go on cute dates and we're just like this cute little couple and we do all this fun stuff and there's never any drama or fighting or like.
You went on cute dates?
No, I didn't. But that was like
movie dates with my parent
kind of
in the like lower end.
How it felt like everyone seemed to be in this picture perfect relationship, and it kind of just seemed like you had to be in one.
Well,
that's how it felt for me.
It doesn't help TV shows and movies.
Exactly.
That's always a factor. Because
Yeah.
man, does it makes high school look fun.
It's not.
No. We were watching a movie just the other day that was like high school based, and I'm just like, y'all are having way too much fun. This is not real.
No.
You don't get to do all of this. But yeah, I would definitely say peer pressure was not just drug and alcohol specific. It comes in many forms. And I don't really feel like the answer is still just say no.
Yeah, and also like I never felt pressured to do drugs.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't like a thing for me.
Well, and also I don't really feel like peer pressure comes in the form that it's represented.
Exactly.
It's not, oh, you've got to do this to fit in. No, it was just more of like,
peer pressure is kind of like everyone is doing it, so you feel like you have to do it, but it's never like
no one's directly saying it to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm curious though, like, what are y'all's forms of like peer pressure that you've experienced? Maybe it's different than ours. Maybe you do have a just say no to drugs kind of experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm curious, so comment if you have one. But what else are we gonna talk about?
You say it's not, like, don't feel like just because everyone else is doing it, like, you have to do it in order to fit in. I think is the main point that we want to say. Like, just because your best friend has a boyfriend or a girlfriend doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Or just because your friend has a best friend that they go out and do everything, don't feel like you're the third wheel or that you're not as important, or that you have to have someone to go out and do everything with.
Oh yeah, that topic's gonna involve a whole video.
Yeah.
Just to let y'all know.
Or even, I mean, if your friend does do drugs or drinks or whatever, don't feel like that's something you have to do in order for your friend to like you. Because
yeah, that whole joke that like your parents say, well, if they walk off a cliff, are you gonna follow them? That's a legit thing. Please don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's funny and we just like roll our eyes at our parents because I did it. My mom asked me the same question. But man, is it so annoying to know that they're right.
Yeah. It is. And you're not gonna know that in high school. Like, you're gonna hate your parents. You're gonna
I was a genius. What are you talking
right? We knew everything. And then you graduate and you slowly start realizing, shit, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Like, please help me. Mom, what do I do?
I call my mom for everything now.
Same.
And it's so annoying when she doesn't pick up.
Right?
Again,
my mom is horrible at answering her phone.
Yes, and it like sends me back to high school because like, you know, if you didn't like answer your phone,
oh, you were dead.
You were dead in the ditch. You were grounded. Another thing, because you didn't answer, and it doesn't matter the reason why you didn't answer. It's not valid. It's not. But now when my parents don't answer, I'm like, I could be dead in a ditch somewhere, guys. It's like, man, I judge my parents. Anyway. So I feel like perfection goes hand in hand with like this, because in order to fit in, that would be the perfect, like, you trying to be perfect. But in the sense like that I experienced it, definitely grades. And not so much because we were talking about this obviously before, because we tried to game plan. Okay, we tried. I cannot promise this won't go off on the rails, but grades for me were not like a huge deal in high school, only because like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like, I didn't really have to try. I didn't put myself in honors classes, so I didn't have to try. I stayed in the basics, so it really wasn't difficult. Like, I don't remember having to study. I remember chemistry kicked my butt a bit, but even then I still didn't study. I just like coasted, made sure I didn't miss more than 3 days so I could skip that final.
See, for me, I'm the total opposite. Like, I made okay grades. Like, I passed. I made it through high school. But I didn't necessarily try, especially in math, science, and history. The only class that I loved and actually tried in and did really well in was English. Everything else I didn't care about. Like, I had no interest in it, and I was just in it to get through high school. Like, I studied because I had to in order to make it through. But did it work for me? No. But neither did not studying. So it just kind of was like hand in hand. Nothing really seemed to help me.
Yeah, studying, I just didn't do that. Like,
I tried.
I've just always had the mentality that, like, if I was going to remember it, I was going to remember it. There's no studying was going to force that into my brain. I tried. I take that back. I took AP Euro, and that was, like, before it became a year-long class at our high school. So it was just a semester. And there was only, like, 8 of us. I think maybe one person passed the AP history like exam to get college credit. I made a 1. Someone else, I remember they eventually just gave up, drew a castle on their test, and took a nap. Yeah, it was bad. It was so bad. And it was just like so much detail. I somehow made a B. I have no idea how. But I still don't really remember studying. I don't remember like, highlights, note cards, we're doing all the things. I think I always bought school supplies. Like, I would buy the highlighters and the note cards as if I was going to study. Still did it in college. Never once did I use them.
And I used them. It just didn't work for me.
College was like a different story. Like, still didn't study. But it was hard for like a different reason. It wasn't so much the material. It was more so like having to relearn everything. I remember getting in the English classes and they're just like, everything they taught you in high school was wrong. So, here's what you need to do. And I was like, are you kidding me? Obviously I skipped grades, so it was 3 years, but everyone else spent 4 years learning all this crap, and now you're telling me it's not right? This is where, like, it drove me nuts. But I made, like, 1C out of the entire academic career of mine. And it was fine. Like, it wasn't world-ending, and I just feel like so many people, like, you want to have A's and B's, and don't get me wrong, like, always try your best.
Yeah.
But a C is not the end of the world. Neither is a D or an F, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, because I didn't make F's.
I mean, they're not
I did,
great.
But never on my report card. Like, I had F's on progress reports and, like, tests and everything like that. And sure, it upset me and it stressed me out a little bit, but I didn't make it seem like it's the end of the world because it wasn't. Like, there's always opportunities, like, for you to do better. And to do, like, retakes and to stay after school for tutoring and stuff like that. And no, it's not fun, but I mean, as long as you got through it, that was my motto, like, just get through it. Like, as long as you
Yeah.
graduate, you're fine. And I mean, I made A's in English, and I made A's in, like, some science classes. Like, I wasn't an all A student. I wasn't an all A and B student. I made C's. I made D's too. And I made it out. Like, I didn't have the highest GPA score. Like, I think I graduated, my GPA score was, like, 3.2 maybe. And I think it's, like, their bare minimum to get into a community college, I'm pretty sure. Or is it 2.8?
I think I was at a 4.0, so I don't know. But, like, it wasn't, again, I didn't take a lot of things and do all the things to have that. And honestly, it didn't.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, yeah, it matters to get into a college. Okay. But, I mean.
But it doesn't define you. It doesn't define.
No, I feel like it became.
Like, how smart you are.
Bigger than it needed to be. And the same is for college. Like, it just becomes more important than it actually needs to be. No one looks at your GPA when you go to apply for a job.
Yeah, it's not
Doesn't even
worth
ask me that question.
The stress and the, like, tears and all that stuff. It's not. Like, as long as you're doing what you can do, then you're gonna be okay.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that it definitely played a part in, like, future plans for me, because I wish I had known, like, the pros of community college.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would have done that first. Instead, it was, like, 4-year everything, and so, of course, I, like, applied to 4-year universities, and I got in, and I went to UNC Charlotte. That first semester was hell.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the classwork. It had everything to do with the environment and just so many things. But, like, part of it was just I wasn't ready for a 4-year. I think after that, I transferred out and ended up at a community college. And I stayed at a community college for, like, a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
It was so simple. And it prepared me when I went back to UNC Charlotte and I was able to finish. I mean, crap, at one point I was taking, like, 6 classes at a time. And if you had told me that in 2012, that first semester, I would have been like, are you high? No, thank you. I took 4 and took a W on a class. I was not ready.
But I feel like community colleges sometimes frown upon. Like,
yes,
if you choose to go to community college to do your basics and then transfer to a 4-year college, or just go to community college and get that associate's degree, like, I feel like in high school that's frowned upon by not only, like, the teachers but also, like, your peers. I feel like,
well, yeah, because we learn everything.
Yeah, the ones that are like, oh, well, I'm going to this university and I got accepted and I have a full ride scholarship, and, like, all this stuff. Like, it's so much.
And dear Lord, if you're going to trade school.
Yeah, it's so much pressure, and again, ties into perfection. Like, a lot of it is you feel like you have to do, and peer pressure. I mean, you feel like you have to do what everybody else is doing in order to be successful.
Yep.
And that's not the case. Like, I did some college. I took online classes. I knew school was not for me. Like, going to school and being physically in a school was not for me. Like, I didn't like it. And I felt like if I could do it online, maybe I could at least do that and be in the safety of my own home and not have to worry about anything else.
I loved my online classes.
Yeah, and I did that, but it just wasn't for me. I didn't feel like I was gaining really anything out of it, so I just didn't go. And that was a struggle for my family, I feel like, and especially for me internally. I just felt like I was kind of failing myself and everybody because I was choosing not to go that successful route that everyone portrays it to be.
I experienced that when I quit grad school. Like, I have my bachelor's degree in English, but it's creative writing, which I love it. It was a great experience, but what you do with it outside of that, I have no idea. I don't have the discipline at the moment to be writing fiction books. I just don't. Even though that was my goal when I went in that track. But yeah, when I did grad school for that first year, oh my God, the anxiety of that. Like, when I quit, I had been talking about it like I was going, and I mean, crap, I even posted that I was on my way to class. And then, like, several hours later, I made a post and I was like, never made it. But, like, no one saw the in-between, and, like, it was, a lot of people thought it was a sudden decision. I got asked if I was pregnant. Yeah. I'm like, why do all these serious things have to happen for me to just want to quit school?
Yeah.
Why does it have to be end of the world? Like, first of all, I have a degree. And even if I didn't have a degree, it's my choice.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like, no one can, like, especially if you're not talking to anyone about it, which you are not, no one's entitled to know that. If you don't want to talk about it to anybody, you don't have to. But if you're not, people get this, like, assumption that, like, oh, you just made this suddenly, or, like, I didn't think anything was going on. Okay, well, I'm not gonna do a live video of my meltdown every week. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot, first of all. But, like, that's a me moment, not a everyone moment, and no one needs to know that every time I sat down to do a paper, it felt like I couldn't breathe. I could get, like, 3 words on the page, and then I was like, gotta go. And it was, like, a 20-page paper. I didn't have time for that.
Yeah.
I had to have, like, my friends help me, and one of them hadn't even graduated with her bachelor's yet. She was helping me with my grad school papers. Yeah. I was like, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people, it became well, you should just finish. No, I don't need to. I don't want to.
Yeah.
It didn't serve a purpose, and that's the thing. Like, I just feel like college is such the be-all, or at least that's the way it's portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't go that route, it's like, well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's that pressure of having to have your whole life figured out before you even enter the second semester of your senior year. You have to know where you want to go to college, what you're studying, what you're going to do after college, how much money do you want to make, like, where do you want to live, who are you going to marry, how many kids are you going to have, like.
Yeah. I remember I changed my major like 5 times. That was the thing, like, getting out of high school, I was going to be a psychology major. That was going to be my thing. And
everybody does. Like, everybody changes their.
Yeah, I got to SOAR and they shoved that little paper towards me and it said 160. I was like, nope, take it back. I'm done. Yeah. You can just count me out. I didn't listen to anything else for SOAR because I was like, no, I'm not doing psychology. And then it switched to criminal justice. And then it switched to business. And then it switched to social work. And then I finally landed in English. And then even my last semester, I was like, man, women in gender studies is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I should do that. No. Just, no. Stop thinking that you have to have it all figured out.
Because you don't.
Even, like, in college, not out of college, in high school, not, like, whatever the situation is. No. Yeah, because even after quitting grad school, I still don't know what I'm doing with my life.
Me neither.
It's okay. It's okay.
Just, you have to take it day by day. I mean, the end of the day, you know who you are. It takes a long time to figure that out, and I still struggle with that. But I feel like you know kind of what you like and what you don't like. Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you happy, what doesn't make you happy. And just start with that and go from there.
I think a huge deciding factor for me, like, to quit school was anxiety.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's, like, a big thing now, and it's more talked about,
mm-hmm.
I should say. And so, like, you can figure out what your anxiety looks like. And for me, I didn't know until maybe a couple years ago. In high school, now that I know what my anxiety looks like, yeah, that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was irritable all the time. I snapped at people all the time.
Yeah.
I can't blame it on my period. It was all the time. And, like, that's what it looked like during that first year of grad school. And the different things that I learned about anxiety is what led me to go and get medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really tell a whole lot of people that I was doing it, and I was definitely nervous about telling my mom that I was getting anxiety medication because I just feel like it puts, like, a little asterisk by you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're that person on anxiety meds.
Yeah.
Or do you really need those?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just pray through it.
Oh, That was a big one.
Don't get me wrong. You need to pray. But sometimes you cannot just pray a panic attack away.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. And also, just breathe. Just relax. Well, if I could relax, this wouldn't be a problem. Seriously. I don't even remember all of the things that I got told. Like, it's just, they don't help all the time. And sometimes, like, that's what we were talking about earlier. Like, you go on medication and, okay, cool. If that is helping you, great. If it gets to the point where it doesn't, though, it's okay to come off of it. Like, for me, I went on it around March, and then the semester was over, and it wasn't helping anymore. And all I was doing was planning my wedding, and don't get me wrong, wedding planning is very stressful. But for me, I wasn't aiming for perfection, so, like, it wasn't anxiety. It was just deadlines and getting stuff done. It didn't make me anxious, it was a little annoying.
Yeah, it was more stressful, and I feel like a lot of people mix up the term anxiety and stress. And they, of course, they go hand in hand, but they're completely different.
But they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
Because my stress does not cause me to not be able to breathe, even though physically I know I'm breathing.
Yeah.
But, anxiety, I figured out that I needed to come off of it, so I did.
Yeah.
Now, still have anxiety. But it's not nearly to the point that, like, it's not manageable. I mean, we were talking with a friend the other week, and, like, you know, hers was a little different, and she did feel like she needed it, while I no longer feel that I need it. But for me, I support anyone that needs to go work that out. If you need to go on meds, cool. If you need to go to counseling, cool.
And if you don't want to tell anybody, don't tell anybody, but also don't feel like it's something you have to hide.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's the same as taking medication for ADHD. Like, some people need it, some people don't. And it's just based off of you. At the end of the day, you have to know what you need to help you.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like not talking about it, sometimes for me, talking about it actually does help. Even if there was no real solution, it was like my problem wasn't fixed, but just calling it what it is, saying what I'm feeling, and all of those things, that actually helps me.
And accepting it.
At least get through the night.
You have to accept it. Like, you can't just be like, oh, push it off. And you have to actually accept, like, okay, I have anxiety. I don't know what's causing my anxiety, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's basically how I feel all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're in school, not in school.
Yeah.
It can still be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in school. Like I said, I didn't really, after high school, I didn't really do school. I tried it, didn't like it. My anxiety is based off of anything else. Like, thinking the worst is going to happen to me all of the time.
I don't relate with that. But I can understand that that's hard. And I feel like that's also one of the reasons why we wanted to do this together, because we do have
similar things, but
similar issues, but different ways of reacting, different experiences, and just somehow it works.
And it's not like everyone's anxiety, everyone's high school, college experiences, after school experiences are gonna be different. You're never gonna be the same as anyone else. And I feel like that ties everything up. Like, no matter what you're going through, no matter what your school path looks like, whatever your life path looks like, if you even know what that looks like, it's not going to be the same as your best friends. It's not going to be the same as your moms, your dads, your brothers, your sisters. It's not going to be the same as anybody's, because it's your path.
Yeah. And I feel like when we do our best friend video, because that's definitely a thing, I feel like, here's the thing, and if you do talk to someone about it, if they can tell you, well, I don't really handle it that way, I don't experience this, that doesn't mean what you're feeling isn't valid.
Yeah.
I feel like I experience this a lot. Like, I love my best friend, but sometimes, how she handles things isn't how I'm going to handle it. And it took us a long point to get to this area where we can say our differences, but, like, her dealing with stress is not going to look the same as mine, and I had to get to a point where that's okay. It doesn't make me less than because I won't do or will do something differently than she does.
Yeah. And also, it doesn't necessarily mean that something is wrong with you or you're crazy or you're just making it up. Because I feel like that happened to me a lot. Is like I would be in the middle of a panic attack and I'd be like, why am I having this? Because so-and-so wouldn't have reacted this way.
Mm-hmm.
But why am I reacting this way? Am I crazy? Am I just making it up? Am I doing it for attention?
And what's so crazy, like another thing that's crazy, as we say crazy a lot, is that like now looking back, because I know in high school it feels so overwhelming in the moment, into the world, whatever you want to say.
Dramatic.
Oh yeah. Maybe your high school experience isn't like that. I'm jealous. But talking about it now, like when we talk about the past, you start to realize that actually a lot of people felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in it, you're like, I'm so alone in this. No one feels the same way. No one's experienced this. They are.
They're just showing it in different ways.
Yeah.
Because they're not you and you're not them.
Mm-hmm. Which I feel is like a huge thing that is hard in all things.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that's it for this one.
Yeah.
We have more videos to come.
Talking about literally anything and everything.
Yeah. So if you have a topic that you want us to discuss, put it in the comments. We'll work it into the non-existent schedule that we have. Still haven't figured that out. But we will let y'all know when we have more. So remember to like this video, subscribe, whatever you want to do. We are going to put our contact information in the bottom. If you have questions or you want to talk to someone that doesn't really know you, cool. Reach out to either one of us. And we're also going to put some other resources in the description as well. So, bye!
Bye!